Kelsey Pedigo. Come up, thank you. It's pen and acrylic ink, irony of the set. You're from Lovejoy High School. Your teacher is Bryce McCasland. Wow, this is this is a really, really unusual and interesting and imaginative piece. Can you tell us all what inspired it?
I'm really, a lot of us are influenced by our society and just everything that we see around us. And some of the things that get to me is just kind of the flaws that are in our society as well. One main thing that bugs me a lot is just kind of the gender roles that we're often put into. Men are supposed to be very successful and professional, and women are supposed to be very beautiful. It's kind of shoved in our faces, and I really wanted to speak to that in this piece. As you can see, the cameraman in the corner, I was trying to allude to that, and just kind of the set, it's kind of like a theater, the set that's kind of put on screen and in movies and even in like advertisements and magazines and stuff of just kind of the things we're fed. And not necessarily that it's bad, but also, there's more to success than just that. There's so many meanings to success that could be put in your own words.
Well, very interesting. I mean, the details are just, you keep looking at this picture. Everyone just look at this picture, and there's just so many unexpected things. Like, you do not expect to see a picture where somebody is covering up somebody's face, with a hand, and I don't know exactly what that head is on that guy.
A blue pelican.
A blue pelican head, and then you've got these little bottles. They're like all these little details. Like, you could just go, what is that? And it's very witty. What was your biggest challenge in executing your vision? Because it seems like a lot of choices were made here. So what was the challenge?
Really just kind of finding a way to communicate what I was thinking about. Obviously, this piece was made with, an idea behind it. So it was kind of just trying to find a way to communicate it without it becoming cheesy, because that's something that I don't really want to communicate in my work, is I want it to be more mature and so that people get it and they don't see just like the layer before it that's, a little wavering. They want to see the mature depth, and I wanted to communicate the thought that I was trying to tell them, and I wanted them to see it clearly. So that was really the main issue. Also, the general just getting around the usual mistakes that happen in art. Let's be honest.
Well, is there anything here that surprised you? Because there's so many surprises for the viewer. Did it surprise you, some of the ideas that you came up with, like, oh, I think I'm going to have this person's hand come out and cover this person's face, or I'm going to, was there anything that surprised you in particular, or even simply, whether it was the idea or it was the execution that turned out differently than you expected?
Well, honestly, obviously, looking at this, there's some surprising things going on there. I did not think it would be this way when I first started working on it. It actually transformed quite a lot. One of the biggest things this may surprise you is that this piece actually turned out well. When I first started it, obviously, since I'm in an AP class, we had like set guidelines, and I took them further, like with my painting in the background and the pin work on top of it. But basically, going through those guidelines, when I first started, I was like, and I did not think this piece was going to turn out good. I actually thought it was going to be really bad. I thought it was going to stink. And when I started taking it my own direction and giving it my own voice behind it is when it started getting better.
You know what? That's such a very interesting point. Your own voice. I think that's the key, and that's again, I think the key in art in general, and everyone we've talked to so far. And what everyone should be reminded of is that so many people sent in artwork, and all of you to have been chosen for this exhibit is really so extraordinary. And I think that the people who were chosen really have a strong voice. So this is your voice. Was there a point where you felt, hey, this is me, this is funny to me, this is what I want to say? Where you went from, maybe trying to give people what they thought, what you thought they wanted, to what you just really wanted to say?
Really, that was just kind of in the more beginning phases, honestly, because once you get started in a piece, you really get going and you have to commit all to it. So after I finally solidified like how I put it together, it kind of just changed. And it was like, this is what I'm going for, because with pieces, you don't always start out with the idea in mind that you want to, but sometimes when you're in the middle of making it, you really think of something, and I'm sure everyone up here understands what I'm saying is your stuff changes like halfway through, and you're just like, oh, okay.
Right.
But when I came on that idea, it's like, this is where I want to go with it. That's really when it changed. So it was more beginning phase, but it still was a pretty big change to me.
Well, that's great. Is there a special, first of all, how long did it take you to put this together? Because it sounds like it was an evolution. It was a bit of a journey. And what made you choose pen and acrylic ink?
This whole piece, I think, took about 2 to 3 weeks. So it was a little while, but if I had to give a guess, we normally spend about, say, maybe 30 hours on it. That would be my guess. But so that's the time frame. There we go. But what made me choose pen is I have actually taken a class before. Well, everyone's taken art classes before, but I had been in an AP class before, and I was really strong in pen, and I liked it. And for this one, I really wanted to be able to communicate detail and fine points. As you were commenting earlier on, like, the depth of the piece. You can't really get that with a lot of mediums. With painting, it would take an excruciating amount of work, which kudos to the masters, because that's what they do. But I just really wanted to be able to get that fine point, so that's why I chose pen.
I can see that, and really, really nice. And how did you know it was done? And because it seems like, you could keep going on with this, but I mean, how did you know that was it? I'm not going to do anything more to it. And also, what pleases you the most when you look at this?
This might be a little funny, but I knew it was done when the picture was done. When the picture was completed. I mean,
okay, there you go.
Basically, I had drawn it out before.
Yeah.
So really, not joking aside, that was bad, I'm sorry. But I knew it was done when the piece itself seemed to kind of communicate what I wanted, but also I couldn't go anymore with the pen work, because that's something you really have to think about, as everyone else knows up here, is overworking your piece. And with the amount of detail I had in here, it's really easy to get too much, but also ruin the paper. So that was, I know I'm more technical, but that was truly when you have to stop it.
And what pleases you the most about the whole picture?
I think really that it's a piece that expresses something that I care about, because you don't always get that in art in high school, because a lot of it is, based off of assignment work. But when you actually find one that you can express yourself in, or if you can even get past the assignment, which is something that a lot of art teachers stress, like especially Mr. McCaslin and Mr. Seidel, which are my two art teachers, is that they stress that you express your voice and yourself in your art. So that's really what pleased me, is that I was actually able to do that.
Well, good work. You have a very witty and incisive voice. Really, you could look at this picture a very long time and find so many cool things in it. It's wonderful. And what are your goals for yourself going forward?
Art-wise, I just really want to keep getting better. I think that's the main thing with a lot of artists, is just to keep improving and to keep finding things to motivate you to create art. Career-wise, I have a school already. I'm going to go to UTD and major in game design. So game design in their ATech program. So I want to branch off into that, freelance and do game design. So
awesome.
Hope to get better at that too. It's all art.
Oh, absolutely. That's great. Well, Kelsey, I'm going to just be thinking about that pelican head.
It's so weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. I can't get that out of my head, because it seems like there's a story there. It seems like maybe like a sequel to Alice in Wonderland or something.
It's like the truth was, I was listening to the soundtrack. I was making it. Really.
That
was a bad joke.
Okay, that's fine. Definitely funny. So, again, please stay in touch. You're gonna maybe you can share news of your new game that you're going to be working on. I'm sure it's going to have wonderful details in it and be very funny. Yeah. So please stay in touch, and congratulations. It's a great piece of work. Love it. Thank you.